1 minute. Not that I want to get. We'll call the Board of Public Works meeting of Monday, September 20th to order. Number 2, approval of minutes of September 7th. Motion by Mr. Fire, second by Mr. Rosendich. Comments, questions, corrections? All those in favor then say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3, citizens' comments. We have no citizens here. So number 4, construction update presented by Chris Hawley, Street Superintendent. Chris.
Good evening, everybody. Short and sweet tonight. This construction season is winding down. And since the last time we met, I just want to give you an update on where we're at. Third between Mulberry and Magnolia between 3rd and Adler, Laurel Courts cul-de-sac, the 4th cul-de-sac just west of Columbus, Pine 4th to 6th and 25th Maple Divine, all have been paved. We just have some minor touch-ups and shoulderings to do on these streets. We have 8th between Central and Cedar. The road has been subcut and rough graded, and working on Cedar between 8th and 6th, doing the same. Once we're done with subcutting Cedar, which will be this week, we'll replace the curb and gutter where needed and driveway aprons. And American Asphalt will follow up and fine grade, and then we will raise structures, manholes, and water valves to get that paved. Kevin from American Asphalt will be here on Monday to set up a schedule with us. And basically that just leaves us on our project list. Clark and Park left for the 2021 projects, and that work will begin as soon as we are done with the Cedar Avenue here. That crew's over there right now, and we anticipate starting that ditching and tiling later next week.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Now we'll have an update from Tom Churchi, City Engineer. Tom.
I'll apologize quick. I didn't get a chance to get this written up last week before I was out of the office, and didn't get it included with the agenda. But the big thing, sanitary sewer contract 2021-02, which is Blodgett Street, Wood Avenue to St. Joseph Avenue. They have one more manhole to install, and this the temporary water main is in place, and they are sanitizing that, and water main construction will begin here this week on that project. A Street, sanitary sewer reconstruction that Chris talked about, all the underground work is now complete. Cedar Avenue, all the underground is now complete for sanitary sewer work, and we're still waiting for a schedule on Lincoln Avenue from our contractor on that project. The city subdivision, Earth has been working on sanitary sewer. That is now done and complete. They're now working on water main on that subdivision. And then finally, the LED traffic signal interconnect project is being moved to 2022 to coincide with the WSDOT SISP grant funding. The cycle for funding that project has a start date of July 1st of 2022. So that's the highlights of the engineering division.
Any questions for Tom? Okay, thank you, Tom. Number 5, approval of the 2022 to 2024 asphalt paving list presented by Tom Churchi, City Engineer. Tom.
So every year we bring these forward. There's some minor changes to some of the early years. I'll read through these quick, and then what we do after these are approved is we put them on our website so that people can see the forthcoming projects when it comes to asphalt overlays and paving. So on 2022 asphalt list, we have Cedar Avenue from Daggy to Grant, Cleveland Avenue, Cedar to Peach, Daggy Street, Willow to Hume, Hinman Avenue, Daggy to Becker. This was added into the 2022 list. Balboa Avenue, 14th to 17th Street, Chapel Street, Adams to North Hills, Jefferson Street, Schmidt to the cul-de-sac, McMillan Street, Lincoln to the west, and Grant Street, peach to cedar. And you'll notice that on these, there's various colors that are added to the spreadsheet. The blue is where water main or water services are being addressed. Green is typically where we're doing some sanitary sewer work. So there's other projects that are coinciding with some of these projects. So if we move to the overlay projects, Arlington Street, Columbus to Lincoln, Franklin Street, Maple to Peach, Ash Avenue, 9th to 5th, and Cedar Avenue, 1st to 2nd, and then Apple Avenue, Daggy to Becker. And that closes out the 2022 asphalt list. The 2023 asphalt list, we have Lemley Avenue, 21st Street to 5th Street, 5th Street, Lemley to Antone, Fillmore Street, Hinman Avenue to the east, Edison Street, Cedar to Becker, Vine Avenue, Becker to Edison, Becker Road, Maple to Cherry, Kelshed Street, Veterans to Sawyer, Fillmore Street, Juneau to Weber, Northridge Street, Central to Hamas, alley bounded by Central, Maple, Blodgett, and Cleveland, Hume Avenue, 29th Street to Veterans Parkway, alley bounded by Central, Chestnut, Grant, and Harrison. Then we have the alley Central, Maple, Grant, and Harrison. 5th Street from Antone to Hume. Antone Avenue from 4th Street to 5th Street. Bluebird Court and Lincoln Avenue, 14th Street to the south. And then for overlays, we have Palmetto Avenue, Daggy to Becker, A Street, Palmetto Avenue to Felker, and Willow Avenue 4th to the railroad tracks, and all of those have water items with them. So for 2024, we're proposing 11th Street, Adams to Locust, 12th Street, Adams to Locust, Locust Avenue, 13th Street to 11th Street, 12th Street, Central Avenue to Chestnut, 15th Street, Peach to Palmetto, 15th Street, Palmetto to Felker, Palmetto Avenue, Daggy to Blodgett, the alley bounded by Central and Chestnut, and Daggy and Edison. The next alley is Central to Chestnut, Blodgett to Cleveland, and then an alley of Central to Chestnut, Arnold to Blodgett, Marcy Court, Lay Avenue, 3rd to the south, and Lay Avenue, 3rd to the north, 3rd Street, Linden to Larch, Concord Avenue, 4th Street to the cul-de-sac, including some water work, Ash Avenue, 2nd to 3rd, and Maple Avenue, Grant to Daggy. And for overlays for the 2024, we're looking at Maple Avenue, 16th Street to Central Avenue, including some water work, 4th Street, Maple to Peach, 14th Street, Maple to Vine, 6th Street, Maple to Cedar, and that rounds out the list for 2024 for asphalt. So I'd recommend approval of the asphalt list as presented.
I'd entertain a motion in a second, then we'll have questions. Mr. Fire, motion. Mr. Fisher? Okay, questions? Easy group. Okay, Mr. Rosendale.
I see there's, let me find it here, Lincoln Avenue, 14th to the south. That's a 2023 project.
Yes.
That's horrible, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is it gonna make it 2 years?
Well, that's a good question, because all these streets are rated at least 4 or less on the Pacer scale, and we have quite a few other streets that are still 4 or less. So, yeah, I'm hoping that everything holds out for another 2 years on that, but,
I mean, I know it's not my district. I've never had a question about it, but
Yeah.
I write on it, and it's really, it's not bad.
and I know the
It's not
street
bad.
division uses it quite a bit, running back and forth to the airport storage yard also.
And with that being said, then, when they do overlay, do they do a tougher construction? I mean, if you're doing heavy trucks on it, things
Tom,
like
I'll
that.
let Tom go first, and then I'll get Chris.
Yeah, when we do the overlay projects, we actually pulverize the asphalt surface into the existing gravel, so we're actually making a stronger base by adding that pulverized, which has still got oils and emulsions in it, and it makes a stronger base to start with, and then we add 3 inches over the top of that. So typically, we're raising the road, plus we're strengthening that subgrade.
Chris, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did have some frost bubbles up there this spring. We ended up doing a big patch out on Lincoln, south of 14th. I think it was south of 17th even. I know the the edge of the asphalt is getting in pretty rough shape, so we're kind of putting Band-Aids on it right now to kind of make it through the winter. So we'll continue with the Band-Aids until 2023, hopefully.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 6, review traffic crash history at 4th and Maple intersection. Discussion by Tom Churchi, city engineer. Tom.
Our office recently reviewed traffic crashes at the intersection of East 4th Street and Maple Avenue. If you're not aware, there was an article that was put out in the On Focus about dangerous intersections, as they called it. And I received probably more than a dozen emails and phone calls about people's concerns and tried to go through each and every one of them. This one here did come up, and I took a closer look at it, and after looking at it, I felt that we could probably do something to maybe make it better. So the analysis we have is that traffic control at this intersection of Maple Avenue and 4th Street is stop condition with Maple Avenue stopping for 4th Street. Both streets are posted at 25 miles per hour. In the 2017 to 2037 comprehensive plan, Maple Avenue is classified as a collector and 4th Street is classified as a minor arterial. In a review of the 5-year traffic crash history from 2017 to 2021, we had 18 crashes over that 5-year period. Looking at vision triangles, there is a building on the northwest corner of 4th and Maple that extends into the vision triangle. On the northeast corner, there was a vehicle parked within the vision triangle. So you would think that maybe all the accidents happen from one direction versus another, but taking a look at the actual crash information, we had 6 southbound versus eastbound crashes, 5 southbound versus westbound, 2 northbound versus eastbound, and 5 northbound versus westbound. While reading the crash reports, I did notice that 8 of the drivers had come to a complete stop before the crash, and 10 did not actually stop for the stop sign. Driving towards this intersection, the stop signs are visible from more than 600 feet in either direction. From the information provided within the crash reports, reading some of the detail that was input by the police officers and the people witnessing some of the items, I believe the drivers are most likely having a problem seeing engaging vehicles on 4th Street as they approach Maple Avenue. While there's little we can do about the building obstruction, we can assist drivers by increasing visibility by prohibiting some parking on East 4th Street near Maple Avenue. So by removing parking about 100 feet east and west of the center line of Maple Avenue on both the north and south sides of East 4th Street, as shown in the attached drawing, will improve approaching visibility and will only result in the loss of 6 parking spaces. Another low-cost method to gain compliance for those who did not stop would be to add an additional stop sign to the opposite side of the intersection for both northbound and southbound traffic, thus increasing stop sign visibility with dual signs. Following these improvements, I will take and review this intersection to see if these improvements have been effective. Therefore, I'd recommend that the stop signs be added on the left side of Maple Avenue for both northbound and southbound approaches to East 4th Street to increase stop sign visibility. I further recommend that parking be restricted on both the north and south sides of East 4th Street, 100 feet east and west of the center line of Maple Avenue. And finally, I recommend that the Administrative Code of Traffic and Parking be amended to reflect these changes. Are there any questions?
Let's do a motion. Motion by Mr. Fire, second by Mr. Rosendich. Comments and questions. Mr. Fire.
Do you remember that when we were designing Maple, we talked about putting a bump out there and by that building on the corner, just a parking bump out, which would help? I will not go that street because there's people, that's a dangerous corner.
There actually are bump outs.
Not enough though.
Well, this will, removing parking a little bit further
Taking the
down.
parking off will help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody else? Mr. Rosendich.
Is this the only intersection that's being addressed? I didn't even read the article, so I cannot tell you.
okay. Of the ones that I took a look at each individual intersection, and in a lot of instances, it was an impression that there were near misses and you take a look at the information for the intersection, and you look 5 years in the crash history, and there's no crashes. So the intersection's operating safely. It's just maybe an impression that there was a near miss. Some of the intersections that I was given were not actually in the city limits. And I had to kind of direct them to the entities that were the correct to address those intersections. For example, Galvin Avenue and Highway 97, they felt that I should be aware of that one.
Well, when you're good at everything, Tom, you know,
So, but I did email each person back that did take the time to contact me, and went through their concerns and answered any questions they had.
go ahead.
Is there any concern for the businesses with the elimination of some of the parking? I know there's a auto dealership there. And I know that the old credit union isn't even in business, so I don't think that matters. But what about the business on the northwest corner? Do you use any parking? I don't think there's any parking
It's
right
a
now.
Mueller-Eckert, and the other portion of the building is empty right now. So they really are not using that space in that area, but I think it will help visibility.
We have a parking lot too.
Yeah, and there's a parking lot on the north side of that
Correct,
building.
yeah.
The big thing is I'd like to make this, try to do what we can just to make this a little bit safer. Yeah, maybe a little bit more inconvenient. In fact, I do plan to talk to the auto dealership and ask if they would be willing, if I mark a couple spots, if they'd be willing to move the vehicle back and just kind of keep that as open as possible too.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 7, recommended items for future agendas. Anybody have anything? Okay, a motion by Mr. Rosendich, second by Mr. Varsho to adjourn. Thank you, we are adjourned.